just grab my drink here. And yeah, I guess we're starting.
Yeah, okay. So this is the first episode of the Mustafar Manifesto with me, Tom, and my buddy Jace.
Hello, over here.
We're just gonna sit around, drink some whiskey, and talk about Star Wars like we always do, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing we do talk about.
For the most part, have like long conversations about. Which today's topic is going to be the delightful ending of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Oh my god, it was so fucking good. Oh,
well, we tried. Oh well.
We tried. It's over. It doesn't matter. Okay. Dude, it was so good though. I mean, I wrote down a few things that I thought we were going through the episode before we get to like the big stuff, at the end with all the crazy stuff. But I love in the beginning when they're flying to get Dr. Pershing, and then you get the Imperial pilots point of view on the Death Star
the
exploding.
whole little discussion, which I was shortly after the season finale, I was actually listening to one of Kevin Smith's podcasts. If you don't know, it's Silent Bob, and he was actually talking about the season ending and how they, a couple times in the second season, they humanized the Empire with that whole Death Star thing too. Plus, if anybody's watched Clerks, they know the whole Death Star discussion of like all the contractors that get blown up on the making of the second Death Star. So other civilians. But like, I was even thinking about that where sure the Death Star, like, it was also just a civilian housing facility, but they also blew up a whole planet.
Yeah, you mean the Death Star?
Yeah, the
station itself.
Well, I mean, like, the Death Star blew up a whole planet, but like, at that point it's kind of even, because they blew up Alderaan, which was, again, just, if you want to say, civilian people for the Death Star also.
And Jeddah. In Rogue One, they blew up Jeddah.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. And they fucked Scarif up pretty good, too.
Yeah, just a test.
No, I love when they bring that gray into Star Wars, especially that's kind of what this series is. It's about a guy who's kind of right down the middle, the bounty hunter, And so I just love how it explores both kind of sides, because with the sequels, it was all very good guy, bad guy, which I know is like how George wanted it, because I've heard like him talk about that, like it's the good guys versus the bad guys, kind of for younger generations. But it always just makes it fun when they sprinkle in.
Because
stuff,
like as it's also progressed with the different movies, you can kind of see where, like, well, hey, maybe you look at it from the other guy's perspective.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I always thought was interesting, how the Empire always shot green lasers, whereas the Rebels shot red lasers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I think, I don't know. I don't know why, if George just wanted to make you think a little bit, or...
I mean, the lasers are just a small, minute detail that you can really just go into and start off something, but like, I always like in that whole first scene with the two Imperial pilots, is that one of them just tries to back out, like, hey, I'm not this hardcore.
Down. And that guy just pops him right in the back. Like, this is how we're doing things. He's so sure of it, too. It's like, seeing your planet burn was amazing.
Yeah, which, actually, if you think about it, from the first episode, the first episode of season 2, where they go back to Tatooine and they have that flashback of everybody in the canteen watching the Death Star blow up.
Oh yeah, Cobb Vanth and everybody, they're all celebrating. Yeah, I loved that.
That's probably how it kind of was with a lot of the people on the Death Star.
Oh, seeing Alderaan get blown up? You think so?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, we don't get into that. We don't get into the families that were living there.
I mean,
But yeah.
yeah,
Oh man, it's so good. Okay, what happened next? Then so they get Dr. Pershing, then they gotta go get Bo Katan and
that whole
Snoop Dogg's cousin.
conversation
Whose name I
with
forgot.
uh with Bo-Katan's companion, I can't remember her
I
name,
know.
but every time I hear it,
I'm gonna look it up quick.
there's always like something about it that I'm always really curious about because one of the main lines is she says something about a psychic, and
About a what? A psychic?
yeah, because she literally says in that conversation when Boba first starts talking, she is like, "Oh, I thought psychics weren't supposed to
Oh,
speak."
a sidekick. Yeah, yeah.
Does she say sidekick?
She says sidekick. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always heard it wrong then.
No, yeah,
Which,
she was just
but
flicking him,
even
stuff.
to go like something similar to that, Boba fucking hated being called a clone. Like, he hated being compared to the other clones
Yeah.
because he was never really brought up to be one of the other clones. Even some of the other clones would be like, "Oh yeah, you're just like us," and he was like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, yeah, he was always his own guy, his own man, just a simple man trying to make his way through a galaxy. Oh man, and clean armor, dude. All
Yeah.
cleaned up.
Oh, that was so nice, that whole repaint job.
I know.
I really like because another thing that's interesting where you see the difference in the Mandalorian armor is that main Mandalorian crest. Whereas like on Jango's and Boba's armor, it's a bit bigger, but on like even Mando's armor, it's a bit more like it's a bit more creatively designed for this. Like it's still same and simple, but there's a bit more detail. Like if you really notice that.
The logo, like
Yeah,
the
the little
Mandalorian sigil.
yeah, the little diamond that they have always on their chest.
Oh, I don't know if I was
But
looking
like
at that super
specifically,
closely.
the rectangle in the middle for Django's and Boba's because it's the same armor. It's
Yeah.
the rectangle is a bit larger, which again is the original design and as it changes
Oh,
throughout
right, right,
different times,
right.
but it's a lot thinner and I don't know, it's just slightly changed throughout all the different ones.
Yeah. I just looked it up. I think her name is Casca Reeves. Yeah, yeah, Casca Reeves. So that's the Bo-Katan's sidekick.
Huh.
She was feisty. She threw the first punch.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering too. I was like, who actually started that fight? Bubba was just kind of talking smack, and then she's
I
just
mean,
like, you know what?
Bo-Katan was also kind of talking smack too about,
Yeah.
but like she also knows the experiences with clowns.
hmm It's interesting too to have her say like, I've heard your voice thousands of times,
Yeah,
but as fans, we haven't seen or heard Bo-Katan hear Tamora Morrison's voice. We've only heard her hear the clone voice from the Clone
yeah,
Wars and Rebels, like Rex and stuff.
yeah,
So even though it was I just thought that was like an interesting little point, and how much like people. I mean, it's gonna make people go back and watch Rebels and Clone
yeah.
Wars.
No, definitely. I mean, I was even kind of just thinking about all that just from the Ahsoka episode too, and like I was also thinking about the I remember Death Watch being a group.
hmm
And but was there a group called the Concord Dawn? Because I know there was also the planet in Mandalorian space of Concord Dawn.
I think Concord Dawn. People are gonna hate us, but I think Concord Dawn was the moon in which Death Watch resided,
Okay,
and then
because
the
I
government stayed on Mandalore.
yeah, because I knew there was some connection between Death Watch and Concord Dawn. I couldn't quite remember.
I think that's like where they reside. There's a lot of
Which where does that actually
Mandalorian
come up? Did that come up in
Clone Wars.
Clone
Yeah,
Wars?
for sure. I feel like I was watching those episodes kind of recently when they first introduced Pre Vizsla and the Dark Saber, John Favreau and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely said they came from Concordan.
Okay. Which actually, interesting enough, if keeping it kind of on the Mandalorian thing, is I recently watched a video on more of the canon life of Jango Fett, and I guess he was originally from Concordan.
Oh, right, and his father wasn't his father like a farmer or a leader? He has some
Something like
really
that. He was a poor kid.
yeah, he has like some crazy background, and then like Django's father was killed by some warring clan, and then this other guy who was friends with Django's dad took in Django and was like his mentor and taught him like the honorable way to be a Mandalorian, and then so he passed that on to Boba.
There's also another interesting thing that it was with Bo-Katan in the season 2 final, where it kind of changed if you from like her how she was in, I would say, the Clone Wars, where she was a part of Death Watch, and then after,
Bo-Katan.
yeah,
Well, she
the
was working with them. She had her
yeah,
own clan. I totally forgot the name of them.
but like her whole, because like you see her whole perspective and everything change a lot in Rebels, because
Right.
she's no longer like, hey, this is the only way, where like the whole Death Watch and all of them kind of also do the whole founding thing for the whole how our Mandalorian is for the season and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you see her, she's more taking up the role of being the leader for her people, kind of like how her sister was.
Right. Yeah.
But
And you really saw that at the end of Rebels too,
yeah,
right? Like when or not Bo. Oh my
um,
gosh.
uh, Sabine,
Sabine. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man. Sabine, when Sabine gives her the dark saber, and I mean, you assume she's going to unite the people, but obviously that didn't work out as planned,
which
according to the Mandalorian.
I can see the argument of like people wondering why Bo-Katan didn't just accept the dark saber again, which I
Yeah.
can I can totally understand at this point
Maybe that's
why.
one of the reasons why it hasn't worked out. I mean,
Well, I
minus
can
the
see
purge and
why she wouldn't, because if she accepted it the first time without a fair, fight, as the dark saber says,
yeah,
accepting it again would just be even more of a slap in the face.
yeah,
So it's like double. Like once it could kind of be, brushed under the rug, but twice is,
and now she's really got to unite her
yeah,
people. So let's see. Sabine. Sabine is someone I thought we were gonna see in season
yeah,
2. I thought for sure if we were seeing Ahsoka, Sabine was gonna be right there with her.
yeah. That would like I I want them to tie more into the whole Rebels thing, especially since like it's after the Rebels and
Oh well,
seeing something now.
apparently it's not. This is what I've
Wait,
heard on the internet is that the Ahsoka episode, because there's that the long jump at the end of Rebels.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so apparently that scene we don't really know when it was or how
So
long
that scene could
after
potentially be after,
what we saw.
which
Yeah.
could explain the whole why her head, um, whatever they are,
Oh, the head
mandibles,
tails.
yeah, uh, aren't as big. Because that was one thing
Well,
that
no, because they
everybody
were
was.
longer even in the beginning of Rebels. They were down to her knees when we first see her, when she reveals herself to be Fulcrum in season 2. Apparently, the reason they didn't do that was just because they were too cumbersome to move around and do lots of stunts.
Yeah,
So they
that's
just had to
also
make them smaller,
reasonable.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
just don't think about it. It's
but like,
okay.
that's interesting. Because if, well, if she, so then when would that be? When would that whole Ahsoka episode be?
um, well, that lady works for Thrawn, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what she was all about. So, I mean, I guess we'll find out in the Ahsoka show.
Oh yeah, there's the
Maybe we'll
Ahsoka
get
show.
a direct like recreation of her meeting up with
I mean, they
Sabine
could be
again in
the
live
whole
action.
like,
Who
oh
knows?
hey,
So many
this whole arc
possibilities.
was happening during is the other half of this whole thing that
Yeah.
happened in the
I
Mandalorian.
mean, Star Wars is getting so big with
Yeah.
so many shows right now. I mean, I'm so freaking excited.
So that was another thing is the actual name drop of Thrawn. Not like Thrawn is dead, just yeah, Thrawn's
Where is he?
yeah. Because there's if Thrawn
It's
is
just saying to Rebels fans, this is coming.
yeah, because if
Watch out.
Thrawn is potentially alive, then that means Ezra's potentially alive.
Oh yeah. I thought, I mean, not to get too far ahead, but I thought, the end scene,
Yeah,
I
no,
was like,
that
this
was one
could
of
be
the
Ezra
first thoughts that I had
trying to
was
rationalize, like, it's not Luke Skywalker. Oh man. Before we jump ahead to Luke, though, the fight scene, uh, when they're with Fennec, Bo-Katan, Kara, and Casca Reeves, when they're just like team,
just
just
storming
storm out of there.
the halls.
Dude, the actor, I can't remember her name. The actress who plays Fennec Shan is such a badass.
Yeah. No, that whole scene was welly done, welly put together, and it was
Very welly.
like uh it's put together well where you would see it as kind of like how some of the clones were. Because just from rewatching just the first few episodes of Clone Wars again, it was really smooth, tactical, like welly done, welly thought out. And one of the recent episodes I just watched was Heavy fucking threw a gun at a clump of droids that were coming at him. And I was like, oh yeah, shit, she's just using the gun. I'm like, and even the first time seeing that, I'm like, yeah, gun doesn't work. Hey, you could still just hit people with it. It'll work.
The droids with it. Remember in the first episode, or I think it was the movie of the Clone Wars when they do that big charge scene and all the clones start charging and the camera's like following them and you see this one clone, he just goes to punch a droid in the face and he just grabs his hand and he's like, oh no.
I really like specifically one shot that was still welly done. Is I would say this is probably the second time I've watched that episode. Is Bo-Katan and her companion jump down
Yeah.
while
And they think they're all surrounded and they
yeah.
pop back up and just bah, 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 bah.
But that's another good. That's one of the best reasons for the jetpack too.
Yeah.
And I was actually looking at it with Mando's jetpack. I wonder if it's just colored the same as his armor, or if it is also made out of Beskar.
Well, I think it is also must be at least lined with Beskar because when Moff Gideon has the dark saber and he's like gonna give him to him and goes through that sneak attack, he slices him right in the back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't destroy the jetpack, which is interesting because that's how Django died.
Yeah, no,
Was getting his
100%.
jetpack messed up.
Yeah.
So they just solved that problem in the show by giving him a Beskar jetpack.
I mean, it's the same way that fucked up Boba.
I think we're onto something here.
2 feds have been taken down by their jetpacks getting hit.
2 Fett. Oh yeah, right. Duh.
Yeah, because
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. What? Oh man.
so that whole hallway scene, well put done. And I also like seeing how they did the nice transition of where they tried to put at least like a little bit of sense of anxiety into with seeing the dark troopers start to boot up.
Yeah, and the dark step.
Yeah, the dark step. And so like they did really well with the dark troopers in this episode that reminded me how they did with the battle droids and a lot of the flashback scenes in the first season. where Mando gets first discovered as a
Oh,
foundling.
the super battle droids and
Yeah,
how intimidating they look.
yeah.
Yeah, I did. I loved that actually. I wish we could have seen more of that.
So especially like with uh, one of the I will say one of the most badass scenes is where he shoots the fire onto the Dark Trooper, and that whole cut to the flames coming around the helmet and the chest and everything and the insides. I'm like that they did that just to like, hey, these guys are some pretty bad motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. I mean, it takes him so long just to take down one.
And the armor too. I'm still really curious about the armor that they have because I wouldn't say that it's blaster proof, but it's definitely blaster resistant.
I mean, they were bouncing right off him.
Yeah,
The only things that even affected him were the whistling birds. That's what they're called, right?
yeah.
Yeah, made out of Beskar, which is kind of funny because you only see him get a certain amount
Mhm.
in season one, and then he manages to keep out. Don't worry about it, but
He just re-ups because
yeah,
you know.
he just re-ups. I wonder, do you think we're ever going to see the armorer again? We didn't
Um,
see her in season two.
which armor? The Dark Trooper armor?
The armorer from
Oh
season
yeah,
one,
yeah.
the chick. I
I
mean, she
thought she was
survived.
badass. Yeah, 100% she probably survived. Like,
Yeah, well, she did at the end of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking she was gonna have some sort of role in
Once she
season
turned out
two.
to be like Phasma again, we just see her fall down a hole, and that's the last we see of her.
No, she'll pop up again. Maybe. I mean, she might not be super important to the story,
I mean,
other
I could
than
see her
giving
coming back,
Mando.
like making a cameo again, because like
Yeah,
I would say she, for the small role that she had, she got kind of a good amount of popularity.
yeah, yeah. She was a badass for sure. Yeah, I mean,
It,
maybe she might come back. Because aren't people from his clan still out there? Mandalorians. I
uh,
know they showed all the
yeah,
helmets,
no, because
but I just assumed that meant they took their helmets
well, I
off.
think he said something about some of them. Uh, well, because they came back and helped at the end.
No, at the very end of season one, when he goes back and sees that all like the helmets are piled up, and he talks to the armor, and then the armor gives him his quest to go find the Jedi, and that's how season one ended.
That's right.
So, because I remember the first time I watched it, thinking, "Oh, they're all dead,"
Yeah.
but it was all stacked up in a pile, so they probably just all took their helmets off and were like, we've been discovered."
Well, I
Some of
feel
them still
like
got to be out there.
well,
Maybe
I
we'll
feel
see
like
John
the
Favreau
ones
in the
that
flesh as
probably
Mando.
had their helmets off were killed, but
Yeah,
if you
maybe the
remember
armor
seeing, there
stacked them all
were
up.
quite a bit of them, so they could have just like relocated and all that.
Remember when everyone thought they saw Boba Fett in the background of like episode two when he was walking through the bounty hunter like Mandalorian enclave for the first time? There's like one
No,
guy
I
with a there was like
don't.
one guy with a cape in the background. Everyone's like, "That's Boba
Uh,
Fett."
then we get the whole badass Tatooine scene at the end of episode 1 of season 2, where
Oh my
that
god.
alone that sparked a lot of speculation just for me personally. I didn't even expect it to be able to be Boba Fett. I thought it was somebody completely different.
You didn't expect his armor,
I didn't
or what do you
expect
mean?
that. I didn't expect the person that
Oh, at the
was.
very, very
Yeah,
end, right? Oh, I totally forgot that they
yeah.
tease him. Yeah, they show his face at the very end.
I mean, they showed his silhouette, and I was like, "Huh, that could be a numerous amount of people." I thought it was at one point. I thought it was Obi-Wan, and like, yeah, hey, that could totally be. Oh wait, no, Obi-Wan would be dead at
Yeah,
that
what are you
point. Never
talking
mind.
about, son?
Never mind about that. Fucking yeah, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think who it could be. I just didn't think it was Boba Fett.
Yeah,
And then they did overall. They did really well with this season.
dude, it was so much fun.
A lot of
I
fan
mean,
service,
it
but it was done well.
yeah, I mean, if I definitely feel like it works
Yeah, well, I
because
mean,
Boba's not gonna. I mean, he might be in Mando season three. We don't really know, but it's not like we're gonna see all these people all the
I feel
time.
like if they brought Boba into Mando season 3, they would do like they'd do kind of like a side episode that would probably tie into its own show because there's the Book of Fett.
Yeah,
That's
well, that's
also
gonna
coming
come out
out.
before season 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I could see. Well, hey, then maybe we get Mando as a cameo in the Book of Fett.
Yeah, that's true. Just one last thing before we start talking about the Luke stuff, because I do want to get there. Let's just go there now, because I actually just forgot what I was gonna say.
All right, but like, yeah, first seeing that TIE fighter fly in. Well, overall, when
The X-wing, you mean?
the X-wing, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I was also thinking of the Dark Troopers, whereas I remember on the episode where they go and Grogu goes to the temple. I remember the Dark Troopers having rockets on their feet, and when he opened up the hatch to shoot them into space, my first thought was, well, don't they have rockets on their feet? That seems kind of
Oh
pointless.
yeah, I kind
And
of
they just
forgot.
didn't touch upon that throughout most of the episode until the end.
I just thought they gave him kind of like an anticlimactic death for all of them, and I'm like, oh,
Well,
okay.
see, that's also what I thought when they just
Yeah.
didn't touch upon it. I was like, okay, they're not gonna talk about that. I guess they're done. And then they come up on the radar back. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're not people. They're robots, so they can
Hey, don't
survive space.
discriminate, dude. Droid rights.
I find droids. They're droids.
Did Solo
Well,
teach you nothing?
if if you want to get into the legends part of it, they all have a little bit of IG-88 inside of them, kind of like Robotic God. But anyway, yeah, the whole Legends IG-88 is kind of crazy and intense, but
Ah, man, I don't know anything about it.
it, it's it's pretty interesting.
I wish I knew more Legend stuff. Gotta
Yeah,
start going
it's
back
kind
and
of
reading.
it's fun to learn about the legend stuff, but like there's a lot of cool shit where like that'd be really cool if it was canon.
Yeah.
But with them having the whole coming back with the rockets on their feet, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then seeing the X-Wing show up, uh, so this is what is this? This is how many years after Jedi? Or
I don't know if we know for sure, but I think it's like 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
okay,
That's
and
what I've
one
heard
thing
people
that
talking about
I
on the internet.
always saw brought up was like, how do people not know about Luke?
I
And
hate that question.
I mean, if he really wasn't, he was known in the Rebel Alliance, but say there was a New Republic and he
He's a
goes
war
off.
hero.
I mean,
That's pretty much it, according to the
okay,
public's
so even
knowledge.
if he's still a war hero, he's not. He's gone off and is going to start his own temple. He's not around people. He's not
No, yeah.
in the public. So people are like, okay, he's another war hero like Han Solo and
Yeah, he was the guy who shot the
proton
hole into
torpedoes.
the proton torpedoes into the Death
Yeah.
Star.
And so, like, I can kind of understand how not everybody knows. It's
Yeah.
like how not, I don't know, would everybody know the Emperor? Like, would they know
No, a
Palpatine?
lot of people don't even know about the Force.
Yeah,
I mean, even in the prequels, there's a couple thousand Jedi, right? 10,000 Jedi.
yeah.
Is
There's
that
the whole temple, and then there's the
in a
handful on the
galaxy of
council.
trillions and
Yeah,
upon trillions of
I mean,
beings?
even in the prequels with the Clone Wars, there's a handful of Jedi that they actually send out on missions to
Yeah.
help continue their stay with what, the Senate, the Republic.
I mean, I just know seeing a Jedi was rare.
Yeah,
You
people
know,
knew stories about Jedi, and it's also kind of the same now, especially while a lot of the Jedi are gone.
it's like how
And
many Buddhist monks have you met that
yeah,
wear the robes and walk around? Then
yeah,
think about the Star Wars galaxy, you
like
know?
sure, there's temples and everything, here and
Yeah.
there, but you don't really see them just like out and
Walking
about.
around, you're like, oh, there's. I mean,
And
obviously we know about them, but it's just,
which is
I feel like it makes
also a
sense.
really cool thing about like, well, the if the New Republic doesn't really know much about Luke, but the Empire does. That also, because I like how they're pulling from some legend aspects of power of Luke and the fear that he, kind of put into the Empire, where a lot of
Yeah.
the
Badass Luke.
a lot of the Imperial soldiers
Lightning
would be
Luke.
like, "Oh shit, that's Luke Skywalker. I don't want to fuck with him."
Yeah. Gideon tries to off himself.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not. He tries to off Baby Yoda and himself.
Yeah, which I
Little Grogu.
never really caught up until this episode where I was like, shit,
when he lights up
yeah,
Cascaris.
he unloads just.
He's like, I'm gonna
straight up.
knock her out with bullets. Bullets. Please pardon me. Lasers.
I mean, even when he goes to shoot Grogu, it's not. He continues to fire. It's a full good 5 to 6 shots.
Yeah.
Like he's going for it.
Oh yeah.
And just with again, seeing the X-Wing show up, that was for some reason, I don't know, I just wasn't thinking about it, or they
let's go there. Let's just get into that.
Yeah, they did well for making you not think that, oh hey, yeah, maybe it's Luke. For some, I didn't really think it was Luke.
Because it seemed way. I mean, I know so many people have had this exact talk that we're about to have right now. It's kind of why I was saving it till the end about this scene, but it just seemed too good to be true, man.
Yeah, well, also, for me, with going off of, who's making The Mandalorian? Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
I could see them tying a lot of stuff from the Clone Wars and Rebels into it. So that's not where I would think is... Because they didn't have a Luke show up in Rebels.
Once.
Did he?
Once. Remember, in the Obi-Wan, when Obi-Wan takes down Darth Maul.
Yeah, he does,
They look out and you see a little... Which is... I mean, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but in that show, him and Leia are supposed to be the same age, and Leia just seems way older when she's working with the Rebels crew than when you see Luke.
Luke and Leia are supposed to be the same age?
Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Leia seems more like Leia, and this is supposed to be about 15 years. So they're working with this 15-year-old girl to take down the government. And meanwhile, Luke is also 15, but in that scene, it's been a while since I've seen it, but from what I remember, Luke looks like a little kid off in the distance running towards Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. And I was always like, why does he look so small?
Huh.
Maybe he is over in the shadows and it's been
maybe it's just perspective and how they do it like that, but I don't know.
Lot.
But the first thing I thought of when seeing the X-Wing, I was like, well, okay, they did the big name drop of Thrawn. So maybe it's Ezra.
Dude, when I saw the green lightsaber too, I was like, it still could definitely be Ezra.
Which is, again, they did really well with that scene, especially with the whole first, I want to say 4 frames of seeing Luke go through the hallway.
Yeah, he just pops into that camera view. Lightsaber already drawn.
But they show you the lightsaber and everything, but they don't show you the hilt of the lightsaber, and they don't show you the color of the lightsaber.
It's black and white, huh?
Yeah, still leaving a lot of it up to the mystery of, okay, somebody has a lightsaber.
Oh, those crafty bastards.
Who could it be? And then it's the scene where it's more into the hangar, or I wouldn't really say the hangar, but where they took down a lot of the stormtroopers. Where you see a good shot of Luke's hilt. And
the glove.
Yeah.
Once you see the glove, it's like, why would they show us the black glove?
Yeah.
If it wasn't Luke. That would just... Because there were bits and teases of, Ahsoka being like, another Jedi. And you're like, another Jedi? They're going to introduce just another Jedi right away? We just met one in the show, you know?
Well, especially with that...
It seemed like it was leading to Luke, but I just didn't want to believe it. I did want to, but I couldn't.
With saying another Jedi, they do leave it up to, it could still be a lot of mystery, not saying oh hey, we'll have Luke show up. They could still be like Ezra, and at one point I was even thinking Kanan, who else?
Caleb Doom. He's gone though by this point also.
Yeah, who's the kid from Fallen Order?
Cal. Oh, I thought it could be Cal also.
Yeah. Cal Kestis. He could have.
They would have just had to age Cameron Monaghan, I think. I don't know.
I'll say this right now. I don't know his name.
They would have had to age him up though, because
I mean, it's not like that'd be too difficult.
Not a lot though. They only would have had to age him up. Oh wait, no, a lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be a lot.
15 years to get to A New Hope from where they were in Fallen
Yeah,
Order.
and it was
Then plus the
already
other like 6 years to get Return of the Jedi, plus another
yeah.
6 years to get to the man. So he'd be a fair bit older.
I mean, yeah, but it could still be doable,
Definitely.
100%. Yeah, and then I don't know. I never really thought that it could be Ahsoka. That wasn't ever really one of the things in my mind.
No,
Uh,
the black cloak, I didn't think Ahsoka. If it was a big old white cloak, I definitely would have thought
yeah,
Ahsoka.
like
Yeah,
her cloaking at the end of Rebels, and
yeah.
with one thing, it's what I noticed at the beginning, the first time I watched it, where he switches. He always kind of switches lightsaber styles.
Oh
I
yeah.
will say definitely at the end there, um, in the big hallway before he gets to the
Before the
uh
main hallway scene.
or well the main hallway scene right before the whole dock and all that, where that was definitely um or very similar and copied, inspired from whatever you like to call it. Uh, like you said, the scene from Mustafar with Anakin.
Oh yeah, him in the cameras.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks. I mean, that's what I thought too when I was very first watching it. Before I even 100% realized it was Luke, was like, whoa, this shot looks like when Anakin is going through murking all the people on Mustafar. Mustafar Manifesto, shout out.
yeah,
Um, he's going through, they're killing everybody, and then on that little quick recording, you see that Obi-Wan watches in the temple.
yeah. That's also right. Man, It's gonna take me a bit to get there since I'm rewatching them all in order. But at the beginning of it, where you see him do kind of the lightsaber move, where he uh, goes behind the back to
Hmm.
deflect the blaster bolt.
Yeah.
That's the same move. Um, I mentioned it too that he does it, that Obi-Wan does when he fights Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. It's one of
Really?
the
And
yeah, it's one of the main moves where he goes uh front and then Maul tries to hit him in the back and goes right behind him. And
oh, okay.
which re-seeing that, I will say
I love that fight
it
scene.
it was a good fight
It's an
scene, even
amazing
with
duel.
Qui-Gon Jinn, it, which
What does that mean? Even with Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn fucking goes hard in that fight scene.
Yeah, I
It's a dope ass fight scene, and then it's followed up
know.
by Ian McGregor being
Yeah,
awesome as
I saw a
Obi-Wan.
thing too of Liam Neeson talking about episode one recently, just saying he's really proud of that
Yeah,
movie and
like
what he did
there's some stuff
and
that's
the work he
goofy
put
in it,
into it.
but like
Oh, for sure. But we also grew up with it.
yeah,
Yeah, just for
and
reference, me and Jace are both 22, so we were children when the
yeah,
prequels were coming out. And I was thinking about this the other day too. We were 10 when the Clone Wars started coming out, which is when I started watching
like
the
the
Clone
show.
Wars, the show.
See, we didn't really have enough like we did. Well, I guess we had cable, but I didn't really pay attention to it, so I never really watched the Clone Wars growing up as a kid.
Oh, really?
I knew about
I don't know.
the 2D animation one, and then I knew
Yeah,
about the
I remember
3D
watching that
animation
like on
one.
I think on YouTube as a kid also a long time ago, that 2D one.
I, there's a couple of them. I haven't watched the 2D movie, and I haven't watched the 3D movie, but it wasn't until like recently where I actually watched through all of the Clone Wars, which I I really I don't know, they could touch up on a handful of things from the Clone Wars into the Mandalorian, but there's also gonna be the Obi-Wan show that's coming out,
Oh my God, so much.
and I mean, I guess to get back to the original topic
I
of
know,
the
I was
whole
just thinking that we got
scene of
so
Luke
sidetracked. That's
and
always what
everything,
happens.
uh, like it was what I noticed at the beginning is he switches lightsaber styles, and it's very interesting because even this time around, you uh, mentioned it where he probably was, I don't know, watching holocrons at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Watching holocrons. He probably had been before and like in between well, actually maybe not. Actually, how hard do you think it'd be for him to get his hands on holocrons? I'm not sure exactly what happened with all the holocrons. I assume the library
I
was seized. That seems like a whole conversation I could
I
just.
mean, I wouldn't say, I would say some of them would probably be harder to get a hold of than others because if you go on to the sequel trilogies, then Kylo Ren got a star map pretty fucking
What
easily.
was that called? A Sith Wayfinder? It
Yeah,
wasn't a Sith holocron, but it was a Sith
yeah.
Wayfinder.
It looks like an old Sith holocron in Legends, but yeah.
Yeah, basically was. Whew, okay, so dude, the way, let's see, where were we? Luke Skywalker. So he
Yeah.
comes in, takes them all out. Looks like his dad doing it.
Yeah, especially uh it I don't know if they specifically decided to do that, but that was it looked just like the start of the hallway scene in Rogue One where you see Vader and
They
I
must
mean,
have
well,
at least had it in their brain, you
they
know.
definitely took that Vader stance of the lightsaber pointing
Oh,
down
when he meets everybody after
with the
Din
hood
opens the
up,
doors, yeah,
lightsaber pointing down and everything.
that power stance.
Yeah, it's
Because right before the last two droids he hits, it's like my favorite move in that sequence.
and he
Right before he
also
grips the droid, he
yeah,
like just steps to the side and does a heavy slash downward, like from above his
yeah.
head, and just goes straight
I
into
mean, if
the
you
Dark Trooper.
also
And I just love that
remember
shot so much.
in the original trilogy when he actually fights Vader, one of the times is he does a lot of the powerful overhead hits.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. Okay, this is stupid. When I was a really, really little kid, still in like this daycare center, I don't even know how old I was. I remember it was like I was still. I'd watched Star Wars my whole life, but I was trying to come to terms with like the story because I was getting a little bit older and it was putting it more
You're
together in
starting
my
to
head. I'm like, I get
understand
this. I
stuff.
like this now. But I remember for a small period of time thinking the Force was was when that moment when Darth Vader is on the ground in Return of the Jedi and Luke is like hitting him like and giving into his anger.
like
I thought that was the Force because
like
he
it
was
was
forcefully
actual
hitting.
force.
Yeah, because he was forcefully swinging down on Darth Vader. And thinking about that now, it's just like I don't know. I was like probably
Now you
5 or
understand that
7
the
or
force is
something.
all around us.
Yeah.
The things that grips and binds us.
When I remember realizing what the Force was, and I'm just like, oh, I don't definitely wasn't the lightsaber fight.
Yeah, and then that because I guess he doesn't have his temple or a lot of students yet.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I don't think so, anyway.
and the thing that I brought up was it should also like it would come off as a little bit of a surprise for Luke seeing Grogu
He
because
looked surprised when he finally puts him in his arms. You know, I know the deep fake was a little funky.
I,
It was a
I
little bit
when they
stiff,
did
but
the
I still loved it
the
so
close
much.
up, it was a bit weirder, but
He
overall,
gives a little look though of like
yeah,
his eyes go a little wide, his mouth is kind of open of like curiosity and like,
because what if
oh,
this
holy
is
shit.
6 years after Jedi, then Yoda just died,
Yeah.
so there's that whole thing. And so then, I mean, even like with Ahsoka, she was surprised. And I
Oh yeah,
guess
she was super surprised.
because this means that there's now been 3 confirmed cases of Yoda species, and even more to go further into a 3 confirmed, 3 of Yoda species confirmed in the prequel trilogies.
Oh, dude, I hope we see Yaddle. Before we get into that conversation, and since we're finishing up Luke, though, I have to use the bathroom really quick. So you just stay here and have
Just
a quick, just,
and
spill your thoughts. I'll be right back. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
spill my thoughts of the
Just let it all come out, Jace.
the season 2 final of it.
Yeah, just let it all.
Overall, cinematography was done pretty well. I thought that they did really nice, balanced with fan service. It wasn't anything over the top where it was like, "Hey, check this out! Hey, we're pleasing the old fans." Still kept it kind of lighthearted and kind of molded around to where it's a bit more intense, but it could still be a whole family thing where maybe you know as a kid grows up, they learn more and more about it. Whatever else, they have stuff for the old fans, they have stuff for the new fans, they have stuff that they're going on that they can easily expand on with the with whatever season 3 that they have planned. Um, Probably gonna get into the post credit scene, which also, speaking of the credits, as far as most all the other episodes of Mandalorian, there's always been the concept art of a lot of the key scenes and shots from the episode. This episode, the season final of season 2, didn't have concept art, which caught me off guard right from the beginning. Also, another thing that uh, was probably that could have been touched on is the different variations of Dark Troopers. Whereas I don't know if they're called Dark Troopers in Fallen Order, but the Dark Troopers from the original Battlefront 2 on the Xbox, for, people who are old enough to remember that, or even young enough to have an old Xbox, kudos to you if you do. Uh, the Dark Troopers on there were the guys that, if you played as the Galactic Empire, they'd be the gray-colored stormtroopers with the jetpacks, and they'd shoot the I don't really remember what it was called, but it shot just like lightning bolts. Pretty good. Tom's joining us again. He's back.
Yes, I'm back. I can think now.
Yeah, I just went off over my thoughts and opinions of kind of like how they did season 2, fan service and everything. I brought up how we're probably gonna talk about the post-credit scene.
Oh my god. The post credits scene.
Yeah,
We didn't even watch that. We just watched the episode right before this. Yeah, we totally skipped through that. The Book of
yeah,
Boba Fett this
yeah.
Christmas.
Which I the I remember seeing a breakdown of the episode, and the chair that Bib Fortuna is sitting in has has a little bit of an Easter egg. I can't quite remember what it is, but I do remember one
It's
Easter egg.
his staff, isn't it?
Well, his staff is also an Easter egg.
Yeah, it was like in the
Um,
original
It was from the original toy
action
of
figure. Yeah.
Bib Fortuna, where that's the only time it showed up. It wasn't actually like in the actual movies or anything.
Right.
Um,
Until now.
Another cool Easter egg was that the dude who played Bib Fortuna in the post-credit scene was
Same guy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
same guy who played him in
Was it the
episode 1.
Oh, right. Just in
Yeah.
the prequels, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still cool though. Gets to come back and
Yeah.
it's memorable.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I was tripping,
also
man,
it's
that whole
the same
scene,
thing
man.
for like the I can't remember his name either. I'm terrible with names. Is the dude who plays Boba Fett, the original dude?
Tamora Morrison?
Yeah.
Or the original guy.
Well, not the original guy. The dude who played Jango Fett also in all
R.I.P.
the
just
cons.
passed away.
Yeah, true. But like, the original dude, the original dude who played Boba Fett, he actually played more than just Boba Fett. He was a couple also background characters too.
Do you know who? I didn't know that.
I don't remember. He played I believe he played a Imperial, one of the Imperial, dudes who worked and did the startup of the laser for the Death Star. I could totally be wrong with this. My memory is a bit
In A
foggy
New
with that.
Hope? You think it was
Yeah.
him?
Well, because he played a handful of characters, not just Boba Fett.
His name was Jeremy Bullock, by the way.
Yeah. And with what was it? Yeah, like Tamora Morrison, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, who better to play that role than one of the original people to do it? Because I'm currently watching through all the Star Wars series again, in like chronological order. I don't really know the whole how you're supposed to watch the Clone Wars in order, so I'm just going off of releases and seasons. Whereas that's the whole
Oh, so
complicated thing.
you didn't commit to the chronological
Well, because what
order.
I want to do is I want to do the chronological order with like I want to know what ones are you're supposed to watch, and then the other ones that are in in the whole series that like kind of like the extra episodes, and have that go along with it, where it's like episode 1 and 2, then the I guess what the chronological order of the Clone Wars, and then the other episodes a part of the Clone Wars. Then you would do episode 3,
Yeah.
and then since I don't have Squadrons, I'm gonna leave that out. Um, what would it be? It
When
would
does I
be
don't know anything about the story of Squadrons.
I don't either. I know that it's um
Should have
what
played it.
the what's her name pilot of the Ghost
Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Hera. Yeah. Um, I know she's in there, but I think after episode 3, it's what you go to Fallen Order and then Solo
I think so, yeah.
and then Rogue One,
Hmm.
then episode 3, 4, and 5. And then I guess Squadrons would be thrown somewhere in there. And is there anything? Well, I guess the Mandalorian after episode 6.
Yeah, and then the
Then
sequels.
you would go to the sequels. Well, no, there would also be Rebels. Rebels you throw in there too. So you would do what? Rebels is before New Hope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
so then
5 years before.
you would
So
do
Rebels and then Rogue One, because Rogue One is
yeah.
right before New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fallen Order, Solo, Rebels, Rogue One, then you go the rest and all that. But that's also why I want to learn what episodes are the chronological ones for the Clone Wars, so I can fully write out this timeline, so you can actually just watch it.
I also think you can go to the Star Wars website, like official website, and I think they have the chronological order to watch the Clone Wars listed there on the website, but I'm not 100% sure. But I've heard
Mm,
that. I haven't checked. I'm just talking on my ass. You're gonna notice I do that a lot.
yeah. There's a handful knowledge that comes with it, but it's also opinion. But like, yeah, and then the Book of Boba.
Book of Boba. Let's see. So I know for a fact Book of Boba comes out the end of year.
End of this
We're
year?
gonna get Christmas.
Oh,
So that
nice.
means we're not getting season 3 till the next year. It could be
Yeah,
pushed.
they really like to schedule it around Christmas.
It's a Christmas thing. Star Wars. Think about all the other movies we went and
Well, I
saw
mean,
since.
like for the sequel trilogy, yeah, but like, have the other ones really been Christmas movies around Christmas time?
I don't remember. There's like this date that they always release Star Wars movies on. I can't remember what it was.
I'm still waiting for one of them to just be released on May 4th. Like, it's too much of a cash
Why?
grab that they can't. Like, it would be
They'd probably
perfect.
do something on Disney Plus for it, but I couldn't see them doing a
I mean,
theatrical
if they
release on.
really wanted to go all out,
I
they
don't
could
know.
do the
Spring
4th
movies.
and 5th.
Yeah.
But so Book of Boba at the end of this year.
Oh yeah, Book of
and
Boba.
then-
But in between that, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be getting the Bad Batch,
oh yeah, there is. I
which is
forgot about that.
the literal sequel to the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I
More
guess it
so a
is.
sequel than Rebels in a way, because it still has the same
Well,
animation as Clone Wars
I
from
mean,
the
I would
trailer.
say that Rebels is
It's an unintentional sequel, really.
it's an unintentional sequel, but it's more the prequel to the original trilogy.
Then it is a sequel. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
because Clone Wars is before Order 66 happens and the other Great Purge. Because there's been like
until the very end.
There's been like what 3 Great Purges so far.
Specifically the Mandalorian one.
Yeah, and so like with how Rebels is, that's all after all that piece. You get spoilers for anybody who is wanting to watch it and hasn't seen it, a badass fight scene between Darth Vader and Ahsoka. One of the best.
I
Also,
think we're pretty safe on spoilers. Everything's been out for a while.
yeah,
We're
it's
pretty
been
late
out
to the
for a
game
while,
on
but
this
like,
season
I
2
mean,
finale
I do
discussion
pretty
also,
well
so
with getting around spoilers.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I guess is this Bad Batch, and then I'm curious about the droids.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be some droid show. I'm not sure when that's coming out or exactly what it's about even, but I'm pretty sure I read something this a few days ago said Bad Batch is coming out next. Then at some point we're gonna get Star Wars Visions,
Huh.
which is the anime short stories directed and created by all these famous Japanese.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
don't remember hearing about that
that's
one. That,
that's happening this year, and
you
then we
know,
get the Book of Boba Fett, which I'm super excited for Visions. I think that could be. I mean, I love anime. That could
well,
be so cool.
like the picture I just sent you yesterday, and about the because I just got a new drawing pad for my computer. Um, it was one of the concept arts from a video game I was playing. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I really like that whole design. Like, you know what? I want to, since I'm in the whole Star Wars mood, I was like, let's just make it a lightsaber spear.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, man, they haven't really touched, because they did in season 2 of The Mandalorian, that whole Ahsoka episode where that was very much influenced by samurai cinema and the
Oh
whole
yeah, it was
uh
so good.
yeah.
Even the way
It-
she fought, I feel like,
well,
was
they
so different to
even
Luke.
even in the whole behind the scenes of the gallery, they even said that was one of the main
Yeah.
inspirations. And even George has said that a lot of the inspiration for like
Oh
how the
yeah, yeah.
lightsaber fight is the whole old school
In the whole
Shogun.
original movie,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would really like them to do a nice, just like, I don't know, Asian style Star Wars,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah, I mean Visions, dude. I'm excited for it.
like imagine that the old Republic is kind of like the Industrial Revolution for the United States, whereas over in Japan they were still in the feudal area.
Sure, yeah.
So like there's a whole other side, and then I'd also really like them to touch on whole outer rim and undiscovered parts of the galaxy too. But I don't know. If they're gonna do a bunch of short stories, they could do a lot, like how they did
Yeah, there's
with
so many options for that Vision show. Just to keep going too. I mean, that could go just forever. Just short stories of different things.
yeah,
You
there's
just
and
keep that going
they
forever.
could,
I'd
if
watch
they
it.
really wanted to, which I don't know, they've pulled a handful of stuff from Legends and made it canon, which is nice. And there's a tons of material from Legends that they
Oh
could
yeah.
easily do.
I know, I mean, there's like, do you think it's like kind of annoying at all that like Disney kind of takes this nitpicks the stuff from Legends? I
I
don't
would
know,
say
because I've only say that because I've heard people like feel like Disney's taking credit for the stuff that came before. That was really cool. I don't know if
they're
that's I don't know.
they are taking credit for some of the stuff that they've definitely brought into canon, but there's stuff from Legends that, like, for a big example, the Crate Dragon.
Yeah,
It was both canon and Legends, but specifically the Crate Dragon egg, the pearl. That was in KOTOR,
right,
Knights of the Old Republic, and that was completely Legends. They didn't have to throw that in.
right.
And so I could see Disney like, oh hey, some of the fans liked that whole part. We'll totally take credit for it.
Yeah,
Like some of it I'm not okay with, but if they do it right, where it's enough that like that the fans that know some of the legend stuff is like, okay, that's where they're getting the inspiration from. That's fine though, because they're from the start of Star Wars with the original trilogy, even just with the first movie, there was so many expansive stuff to the universe, to characters, to ships, to the world and everything that yeah, if you see it blow up that much, I can totally see why George was like, sure, yeah, we'll throw that in. That's totally awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, I'll sign off on that. And then, when you sell it off, they're like, hey, if we really want to structure this, we can't have all this crazy shit. We'll take some, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It does make sense. I get it. Like, I get why they did it. I also get why it sucks for
Yeah.
people that had lived with it and reading it and playing it and experiencing it for like 20 years.
Yeah, but you can also look at it if you want to be kind of happy with it, is that they're at
30
least
years.
they're no longer like discrediting all that. Where they were like, yeah, that all of that just didn't actually happen. They're like, oh hey, here's some similarities.
Right, and then in your head you can kind of play it up like, well, then in my head that did happen. Then if they're taking all that stuff from it, then KOTOR did happen. Okay,
Well, I mean,
canon.
like because they could. Because isn't one of the shows that they announced kind of taking place around the Old Republic area, or could take a place
Mm.
around the Old Republic era?
No, there's the High Republic,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
and
of.
that's so far it's just a series of books and comics, um,
I mean,
maybe
but a lot of the
games at some
canon,
point.
I mean,
And
the
it's in this
games,
in
yeah.
between area of, I think, after the Old Republic kind of KOTOR era, right before the Phantom Menace, and it's supposed to be like this high, like the Renaissance of the Republic, I guess. They were doing
Yeah.
really, really good right before Palpatine and the downfall, and it came
Which
clouded in
rewatching it,
the
Palpatine
dogmatic
wasn't
Jedi and all
even
that.
the Supreme Chancellor in
No, he just starts.
Episode
He
1.
just starts out as a fucking senator.
Yeah. It was just not
It's
until
Chancellor
episode.
Valorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, like, Valorum was like, the Separatists say they're not doing this shit, so,
Well, they
kind of
just
need to
boot
take
him
it
out. They're
up.
like, this guy ain't doing shit.
Whereas
Neither is Palpatine, dude.
Padme Stanton was like, yo, they're literally holding our planet hostage, you're not gonna do anything?
Yeah.
Which, that was, from rewatching all of them, how do you have a legal blockade? Literally, one of the first few scenes of episode 1, the Separatists say, this blockade is completely legal.
I don't know, man. I try not to delve too deep into the politics of Star Wars.
I know, E.T.'s there and everything, it's a whole mess.
Oh
But
god. So the music.
the music,
Okay, well, before we talk about the music, we're at an hour now.
yeah, just about,
So
yeah.
I was kind of thinking like, oh, it'll just be like a half an hour, and then I realized we were talking and we were still on the Mandalorian like stuff a half an hour in, so I'm like, screw it, we'll just keep going.
No,
Since we're an hour in though, and we're about to talk about music.
I mean, like I said, we've had almost hour-long pre-episode discussions.
Oh yeah, just ramblings, just like this, and that's all
Yeah.
it is, just fun
Yeah,
ramblings,
this
not
is
too
about
coherent.
the basics of how it's gonna be.
Yeah, we're not the. I definitely don't claim to be the most knowledgeable
Oh,
on Star
no.
Wars. It's just fucking fun.
We know the
I
stuff
mean,
that we
how many
like.
times have we watched the movies?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, this is...
Grew up with that,
What was it? I'm now rewatching them again after I just got done rewatching all the movies. Just the movies, not like the side movies either. Just the main Skywalker ones. Of
Oh right, you
1, 2,
just
and
went through the
3, 4,
Skywalker
5, and
saga,
6. Yeah, 7, 8, and 9.
and now you're going back and rewatching them in
Yeah, in chronological order with
Good,
all of them.
nice. That's
So,
gonna take so long.
yeah, it is. Because I'm also throwing in the game because I want to throw in Fallen Order for it too. Because when I haven't beat the game, but like it's also a part of all that.
Yeah.
Which I thought about like not just with the films, well, we can get into the whole video game topic of Star Wars and uh maybe foreshadowing, like they did with uh Snoke and Palpatine. Ooh, as
Oh,
EA
dude, we
left.
didn't even talk about that in
Yeah,
Mando. The First Order connections, and I mean, I'm
dude.
like 90% sure that was literally just Snoke's
I mean,
body in
that's
that
what
tank. It looked
everybody else
just like
says,
him.
and the whole. I mean, one of the original things I remember seeing is that the scientist dude had a
The
badge
Camino
of the
clone,
Camino clones.
yeah.
Yeah, so plus they're talking about his blood and everything. Yeah, I guess spark up a joint.
Yeah, we're just gonna spark up now that we're at the hour. Not like it hasn't been ramblings before. Now we're really just gonna ramble. Talk about everything. We're not just on the Mandalorian now.
Yeah, so with the whole cloning on Camino and uh, so do you think that Grogu called for Luke uh during
That scene in the episode where he was like had the walls of force
yeah
energy
yeah
beaming up from him into the sky.
yeah and
Yeah.
what was it, Tython? uh
Do a Typhon or Typhon, which fun fact is the starting planet from the Old Republic MMO. You start as a Jedi. You start
huh
on the planet Typhon. So there's another little game reference they brought in.
because Ahsoka says that um that bring him to the Jedi Temple on Tython and maybe he'll connect with the Force to connect with another Jedi.
Yeah.
And if it's, I mean, I guess there could be a handful. Well, I guess not really a handful, a couple Jedi that could uh, pick up on that signal. But do you
Yeah,
think
which
that?
is why I thought it could have been anybody.
Yeah,
Let's see. Let's see. Mm, the music.
yeah, the music.
Dude, the music for The Mandalorian is so good. Like this
Yeah,
guy, I'm gonna look up his name because I forgot his name.
dude
He has a
looks.
lot to live up to, and he's
I mean,
killing it.
he is killing it. But if you look at him, dude looks like a total like music introvert. He has the
Yeah,
whole, he has the whole long hair look. Like even just seeing him in
I think
his
he's like
studio,
Swedish or something too, right?
something
Yeah, he
like
definitely had
that.
an accent in the videos I saw.
But dude knows how to like because you can't really it's not really they're not doing an orchestra for this one. They're not going for the whole big you know, string quartets and all of that for the background music. They're going
Right.
for more of the show types of music. Because even in the Clone Wars, because I'm like 8 episodes in now, rewatching it. Even in the Clone Wars, the music they still have that orchestra music for some stuff, like some of the
Yeah, all the
uh
classic themes and
yeah,
stuff
some of
too.
the space stuff and whatever else, but like they're not there's also different ones. Like one of the things I noticed is some of the music with like the droids or with the clones, it's more electric, kind of uh kind of like how the music was with the Dark Troopers building up in
Yeah, the
the season
dubstep.
final. Yeah.
I do wonder if he made that. If he was the one who composed the Dark Trooper dubstep theme, because it's definitely really different to all the stuff he did before. I like all the like. It's really tribal. A
Yeah.
lot of stuff he
I mean,
uses.
it's
These.
also because one of the things I heard somebody say forever ago at the start of this is it's basically just like Star Wars Western. And especially when he uses the recorders and flutes,
Right.
that's very Western vibe. And I do like how they do give it the whole gunslinger, like,
Dude, it's so good. Yeah.
old fashioned cowboy bounty hunter. Uh, you know, which anybody who's seen Cowboy Bebop is one of the best lines is, I'm just an old fashioned cowboy. Oh, so you're a bounty hunter.
I haven't watched. I watched the first episode with you, but that's a show. I know I need to watch. I love the soundtrack of it. I listen to that.
Soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
Nice jazz soundtrack for Cowboy Bebop. But The Mandalorian, the flutes and everything, it's I don't know. Music is a very good key point for a lot of cinematography.
And especially Star Wars.
Yeah,
So to do something new and kind of different is like ballsy, and the fact that it worked so well, I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
I mean, and what was it in the galleries? Even I think he makes a comment to it where he has like, because Star Wars has this big reputation. It's blown up quite largely. Where if you're going to be a part of it, a lot of people are going to be stoked to be any part of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But if you're like one of the big key points, like a director or a creator or a story writer or music developer, it has this long history of these great composing pieces, like the Duel of Fates, the Imperial March.
All of them. Battle of Heroes,
Where there's these big key pieces that take handfuls of uh, handfuls of different people, handfuls of instruments. It just just adds to the atmosphere of it. Whereas with the show, like with a movie, you can kind of understand a little bit more because they can make a bit longer piece. But with it, and I would say with a show, you're always confined to a set amount of time.
Right.
And this dude alone just he basically does it by himself. I do remember in the gallery of season 2 where they did have a bit more of a bigger orchestra with some of it.
I need to rewatch the gallery for sure.
But the
Bummed it was only one episode.
yeah, I was
It was
really
an hour.
bummed about
It was an hour long.
yeah,
though.
no, it was basically like a small documentary length, but I was still bummed that it was one episode.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like gonna build up. There's the fact that they just didn't talk about the Luke stuff and showed. I need to know, what was
Release
going
the
on
JJ cut.
through their head. Release the JJ cut. Do it. We want a 4-hour long Rise of Skywalker.
People pay for the Lord of the Rings extended edition. They'll pay for it.
And they're gonna pay for what's that one? What's the one coming out? The Snyder cut. The 4-hour long cut of Justice League.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But even even with the bigger orchestra and a lot of the more instruments with it, the main composer of the show who's done most of the music for it, he was still the main overseer of the pieces. He was the one who was still directing everyone too.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? I had his name for a second. His name is Ludwig Göransson?
Yeah, that's right. He had like a
I'm probably sure I pronounced it wrong, but
crazy name. Ludwig's definitely German. I mean, like, if we eventually get
kind of badass, Ludwig.
Any German listeners, yeah, Ludwig is a semi-common name in Germany. But like, there's a lot of. I would say there's the more that the Mandalorian goes on. Obviously, since we're getting to season 3, that it will raise more of an expectation where I can see it kind of happened with the sequel trilogy where you had the original trilogy, the people who grew up on that had their kids watched the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, so they have that both to build on. Then hearing out of nowhere, oh hey, we're making a new Star Wars trilogy, like making a new Star Wars trilogy. That's awesome. And so, a lot of people got excited about it, and as it continued, with them continuing on the movies, it started to gain a little bit of an expectation of, oh, hey, they have to be this good to be Star Wars. Whereas,
Yeah,
also with The Mandalorian, it's gaining a lot of popularity.
so
Overall,
much. Dude, my grandma is talking to me about it.
I mean, granted, like, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have done a really nice job on just making The
Rather
Mandalorian.
really nice, yeah.
And
I'd say so for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, because what it was Dave Filoni who was on The Last Airbender.
He had something to do with it, which he mentioned
Yeah,
in the season 1 of the gallery.
yeah, and then you have
So he was definitely involved in because he's listed as an executive producer. I'm pretty sure in the beginning.
Jon Favreau who did uh,
Everything.
I mean, basically, one of my favorite Christmas movies is The Elf, and up until watching the gallery, I had no clue he did that.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I had no clue. I was like, when I saw him talking about, yeah, I did The Elf, I was like the movie The Elf,
Huh.
and then
I don't know why I said really. Like I knew that also because I didn't. But
it totally caught me off guard.
Yeah, I do remember.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
but it is definitely gaining enough publicity and popularity where some people, I mean, obviously you can't always please everyone. There's always going to be somebody who's like, oh, it wasn't,
No,
how
it's
I
just too
liked
big.
it. But if they keep it consistent on the goal that they want, then I could see it turning out really well, like how Rebels and the Clone Wars turned out. And I'm gonna take a short intermission because I have to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Tom, just talk to the crowd.
Okay. Jace is going to the bathroom. Let's see. We've just been going on a bit of a rant here, huh? Oh, okay, here's something I got in my notes about the episode. So, the Star Forge. I've been thinking about the Star Forge since 2015 when I first saw The Force Awakens. I don't know why, it was just like a thing that popped in my head. And seeing Star Wars Theory's little video about possibly seeing like a version of the Star Forge in the background of when Luke flies in is just so cool. I love the idea of it because I remember thinking, how does the First Order have all these resources and all this stuff? And even up into the Rise of Skywalker, when you saw all the freaking ships rise out of the water, just hundreds of them in a line, I thought, oh, Palpatine went to the Elder Rim and found the Star Forge or another Star Forge. I think it was destroyed. I can't remember exactly. I just wanted the Star Forge to be involved. I thought that idea was so cool. And, it never happened. We all know that. We got the sequels. They are what they are. Oh, man. I'm going for about an hour 20. Pretty good. Yeah, I think I said this before, This is the first episode of the Mustafar Manifesto and just kind of trying things out. Me and Jace, we just have hour-long discussions like this before an episode of The Mandalorian would come on when he would come over to watch it with me, so we just thought it'd be cool to record it, post it out there, see what people think. Just having a little chat. Oh, I think someone's back. Oh my god. I was just talking just for a second about the Star Forge and how much I wanted it to be.
Yeah, the concept of the Star Forge is pretty. I would really like them to touch up on it because the whole. I can't remember their name, even though I just watched a thing on it. The race that made the Star Forge.
Oh,
Like,
dude, yeah, because we just both saw Theory's video
yeah,
probably about it. Yeah.
like I would like them to touch a bit more up on them, but even just the Star Forge, what that was even pre Old Republic, right?
Yeah, that was old. That was pre-Jedi, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. It was built
because
by like an ancient race. It just became a source of dark power. I think they had their own versions of like lightsabers as well too.
yeah,
They kind of looked like Mon Calamari a little bit.
who was
I think.
who was the other race that was like the octopus people? Uh, like not
Oh, that oh, dude, I don't remember that are with them
yeah the
on the planet in the episode of
yeah
Mandalorian.
or the
Dude, Saman, I don't remember. They're in KOTOR too. I remember you see a bunch of them in KOTOR as
yeah
well. Or it's like the boss in KOTOR too of the exchange corp on Telos.
which I was gonna say, speaking of Star Wars games, is that uh I prefer the outfit for Asajj Ventress in the original Battlefront 2 than the outfit that they have for her in um the Clone Wars series.
Dude, so when you texted me that was a trip. I
Dude,
had no idea that Asajj
dude,
Ventress
it
was
was
in
a
the
trip
original
for me.
Battlefront 2. And then I
Same
started to think, because I didn't realize
same
just
thing for
how long her character had been around, I guess.
same thing for what was it? Not Jedi Master Plo Koon, Kit Fisto.
Oh,
Kit
he was in that also?
Yeah, so if on a specific map, if you play as the CIS against the Republic, the CIS gets Asajj Ventress, and then the Republic gets Jedi Master Kit Fisto. And first off, the maps that you get them on, 100% are multiplayer maps. And two, their powers are far overpowered. Like Kit Fisto has a force ability that you can use that's literally just a ball that you shoot at droids and it's a one-hit kill.
Jesus.
It's the same thing with Asajj Ventress and what she throws.
Is this what is this the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she basically has nunchuck lightsabers, which is also but it still has the
Oh.
curved handles, which they
She looks
kept that.
way freakier in this.
Yeah, right? It's the low poly count. That's what does it. But I thought it was far cooler. And
She's only available through the Xbox Live patch. I wonder if it's like something they put in later. That's weird.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Asajj
the
Ventress along with Kit Fisto were only included in Xbox Live DLC for Battlefront
yep,
2.
because the two
Oh,
maps that you can play them on, uh, hands down from what I just from playing them are multiplayer maps. It's the same thing with playing Cloud City. Bespin,
yeah.
another multiplayer map because I don't know. There's those three maps, and they were the only three maps that I never played growing up on the original Battlefront 2.
Bespin? You didn't play Bespin?
I never played Bespin.
Huh.
Like,
I feel like I remember playing that one online on the computer when I was really young.
yeah, it was, dude, it took me totally by surprise. It was super fucking dope though. Like, uh, especially like seeing it, and after watching the Clone Wars, I was like, then, yeah, how long has she been an actual character that was thought up?
Since 2003, since the animated,
Huh?
the 2D Clone Wars. Because I think that came out, what, right as Revenge of the Sith came out? Before Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, around the same time.
Bunch of stuff came out then that Dude, I remember when I was like, I think I was in the second grade. I was living in Reno, and I got, for Christmas, an Xbox, the Revenge of the Sith movie, and the Revenge of the Sith video game. And I was just like in Star Wars heaven in second grade. It was amazing.
I remember watching Revenge of the Sith as on the DVD after owning Attack of the Clones on VHS for like years.
Dang.
That was the only Star Wars movie that I had, and
I
that
didn't
we
honestly.
actually
I didn't
had.
even know you could get Attack of the Clones on VHS.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a VHS player when I was a little kid, just before middle school.
I think I watched the. I want to say I
Because
watched
Phantom
the
Menace
originals on
100%
VHS.
came out during the time when there were still VHSs. That was
Yeah.
straight up.
I mean, I remember them still being around when I was that young, but I definitely remember having DVD copies of everything.
I still need to
That's crazy.
complete my collection of the DVDs. I guess I need to get the DVD.
You get all the new ones, don't you? Or do you have them?
I have all the sequel trilogy, and I have all the prequel trilogy.
You have Rise of Skywalker on
Yeah.
DVD? Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun to watch. If we ever do a sequel trilogy watch through. Okay, so as you're going through chronological order, once you finally get up to the sequel trilogy, you should bring them over and we should watch them on DVD, just because it'd be cool to look at the menus and stuff. And
that is true. Well, the menus are pretty bare bones.
Really?
Like,
they don't do the cool menus anymore? Almost knocked over the mic there.
Like with I know specifically with The Force Awakens, there's this start menu where you pick the language, and there's a menu for like, play the movie, settings, extra features, and all that.
Right.
Where there's some image on it, like kind of going, but it's nothing over the top.
Yeah, that's too bad. I guess they got out of that phase now.
I mean, yeah, it's kind
they
of
don't really focus on those
but like,
anymore.
I own the original trilogy. I don't have them on DVD. I have 2 different versions of the original trilogy on VHS.
Oh yeah, you have the originals, don't you?
I have the originals before any of the cut. Yeah, uncut. So not even with.
Do they have the deleted Jabba the Hutt scene with him as a human, or is it just not? It's just not in there.
It's not in there. They don't have the whole. They don't have the CG Jabba scene whatsoever. But then I have.
We need to watch that.
Then I have the first cut, where they really
from the 90s.
Yeah,
they put in that first version of the CGI. Yeah.
Before Han still shoots first in it.
Does he?
Yeah. They have the whole Jabba CG scene, but like, that's the only real thing that they added.
I love that about Solo, by the way.
Yeah.
Han shoots first. How he just murks Beckett, dude.
I would say Solo is still probably one of the ones that I remember the least, but there's like distinct parts that I remember of it.
I think it's a lot of fun. It's not like super important. It's not super deep.
I will say for like a side story, they did really well with it. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not really a side story, but like to create kind of like a, oh hey, here's not like one of the main pinnacle things of the series, like how Rogue One was.
It was almost what I thought Mandalorian was gonna be. Just a story about this guy and his travels through the galaxy.
A little bit.
But then the Mandalorian very quickly became so much bigger than that. But Solo was that. Solo was just this little adventure. How he met Chewbacca, how he got his blaster, how he got his name.
Yeah.
Him sort of acting the way he did, the Imperial Academy. It was cool. It was neat.
It was definitely well put together. And I mean, even rewatching it the handful of times that I have, there's still parts where I'm like, yeah, I thought, like, it gives you more of a character development for the Han Solo character, but it's not necessarily important enough where you have to watch it. Like, you can enjoy Han Solo throughout.
It was very much a side movie, yeah.
Yeah, where you can
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like I did really enjoy one of my favorite parts is the whole Castle Run thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
They're like,
and Donald Glover.
Yeah,
as Lando did awesome.
Really well as young Lando.
Yeah, I think Alden Ehrenreich did all right as Han.
Yeah, no,
he definitely doesn't look like him. He definitely doesn't sound like him.
Well, I always gave
the mannerisms, and
I gave it the leeway of I'm fine with whoever they choose to play young Han Solo, so long as they're able to play him good.
Yeah,
They do him justice. They actually capture the character well to
yeah.
how Han Solo
He
is.
definitely seemed like a very young, very spunky
Yeah, like
Han
just starting
Solo.
out.
Yeah, and I know there's people who definitely disagree with that, but
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
but
it's just
there's some people who think that the entirety of the sequel trilogy is the best, and there's some people who think the entirety of the prequel trilogy is the best. So,
yeah, man. Just all about the love for Star Wars, man.
yeah, overall as a story, it's kind of goofy. I
Yeah,
won't lie, but
it's a
it's a
space
good
fantasy
story.
with
Like,
wizards, and it's just awesome, though. It's
yeah, well
fun,
put together,
and it's
especially
it's gonna be remembered forever.
especially with what they continue with it. And like, you
Like the
can't
story of Star Wars will be around
at this point you can't have
forever.
them
I believe
all
that.
be home runs. So like the
Wow,
ones that are good. Also, like when is the Kenobi series supposed to come out?
I don't think we know. Sometime next year, maybe. I think they're still filming it.
I know they've
I
been
know it went
filming
through
it
like
for a
a
while.
bunch of rerun. What's it called? Not reruns, rewrites.
Yeah.
Like redoing the script and stuff. That's the rumors, anyway.
But hey,
I
Ian
mean, it was originally gonna
McGregor.
be a movie. Yeah.
So
Well, dude, we're an hour and a half in.
yeah.
That kind of flew by. I
Uh
think I think we're pretty good.
yeah, this I would say this should
Yeah.
call it for a good uh first episode,
Yeah, that was
first
awesome.
session, whatever this will turn into.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. Anybody that listened. This was the Mustafar Manifesto.
Yeah.
Until next time,
And the force be with everyone.
may the force be with
Peace.
you.